What's up, guys? Back again with another video. Today's video, we're going to talk about Palantir, as it's one of my larger positions. It's a stock that I really like a lot. The company I really like a lot. It's here in Colorado where I live, and there's just a lot of things about this company that I feel like they're already being talked about. I don't think, anything has not been uncovered with Palantir. There's a lot of people who make videos on Palantir, and I feel like they cover basically everything that we already know. But with this channel, once again, I just want to provide my own perspective and then, just talk about my opinion and my thoughts on the company itself. And then, just highlight a few things on what I think could propel Palantir to the next level. It's currently trading at like a $400 billion market cap, but I feel like there's still a lot of room to grow with this company. Even though a lot of people think it's already overvalued, I think there's so much more that this company can do. So we're going to dive right into that right now. So could Palantir become a $1 trillion company? Right now it's valued at roughly around, let's dive into it. They're currently valued at $421 billion. But the path to $1 trillion isn't just doing more of the same, in my opinion. It's about breaking into industries where Palantir isn't yet dominant in. One of those industries is the industries that I come from, real estate, and I feel like a few other ones that could be very good for Palantir is going to be insurance and construction. We know they already have a few customers in these industries, such as CBRE. They have Hyundai, and as far as insurance goes, I believe they have AIG. I can't remember, so don't quote me on this, but I know that they do have an insurance customer right now. Today, let's talk about what Palantir does well, where it's a little bit weak, and what it would actually take for them to hit $1 trillion milestone. So as I said, they're currently valued at $420 billion, which is massive. I can't state it enough how well this company has done. It was underestimated for so long, and it's just come so far, and I'm just very excited for this company and continuing to watch it grow, watch my position grow, and watch what else they're able to do in the current industry that they're in. So as we can see on this list, I think right now Palantir is sitting at right in spot number 19. They're a top 20 company in the United States. Above them right now is Johnson & Johnson, ExxonMobil, MasterCard, Netflix, and so on and so forth. And I truly believe, I read an article once that says by 2030, the Mag 7 is going to change to basically like a Mag 10. And recently, there was an article that came out that was talking about expanding that Mag 7 list to like a Mag 10. And I believe the companies that they added to that was Broadcom, Palantir was one of them, and I can't remember what the other one was. Let me see if I could find that. So I couldn't find the article that I saw, but it was just basically talking about how they were going to start tracking Palantir with all the other Mag 7 stocks. We all know who the Mag 7s are, Apple, Tesla, Microsoft, Nvidia, so on and so forth. But I saw this article on CNBC here, Palantir now among 10 most valuable U.S. technology companies, which it just is a testament to how far Palantir has come in what they're doing and how they're growing this company to become a titan in the United States and just around the world. I was trying to find a full list of all the customers that Palantir has, but I wasn't actually able to find a full list of every single customer that they have. I was really looking for this list just so I could see all the real estate companies that were on there, but I know the amount of real estate companies that they currently have is very small. It's not a large amount, and I think, me personally, this is just my opinion, I think real estate companies and property management companies can be a part of Palantir's business that's going to push them to the next level, along with all the other industries that I named previously. And I know it's a little bit late, but we can go over their Q2 highlights. Their next quarter is going to be coming up, or their next earnings report will be coming out here shortly. But as far as their last earnings report, guys, it was a banger. When I was reading this report and I was just looking at the highlights, I was blown away by the way that they've grown. And I know, me personally, since I've been following this company since they DPO'd, I've watched this company grow quarter after quarter after quarter. There were times where Palantir would release an earnings report and it wasn't that good and the stock would fall. Now they release an earnings report and this thing goes up by 10-15% sometimes. And the current price of Palantir as of market close on Friday was $177.43. It's currently up 134% this year alone. But as far as their last earnings report, their US revenue grew by 68% year over year. Please point me to another company that is growing 68% year over year. And if I'm being honest, guys, I think that's just the start. I was anticipating seeing their first $1 billion quarter, which we were able to hit this last report. But I think $1 billion is only the beginning. There's going to be a point in Palantir's history where they hit $1 billion, $2 billion, $3 billion, $4 billion a quarter. I was looking at Salesforce report not too long ago, and I was looking at how much they make a quarter, and I was just thinking, I was like, Palantir can get there. And people will say the stock is overvalued. And my opinion when it comes to people saying the stock is overvalued, I'm not denying that by the standard metrics that we all look at as far as like price to earnings. The price to earnings is at 590% or 590. That is a crazy price to earnings if you're just comparing it to any other company. If you're comparing it to like a Coca-Cola or a Microsoft or whatever it may be, if you're comparing it with those companies, 590 is a large PE ratio. But my personal opinion is we can't honestly look at PE, if I'm going to be completely honest. I think the PE ratio when it comes to a company like Palantir is just out of whack. It makes no sense. I think this company is priced at a premium because people see what's happening, all the customers that they get, and how they're growing. And I think it's going to continue going into 2026, 2027, 2028, and so on and so forth. So US customer revenue grew by 93% year over year. When I saw that number, I was kind of blown away. And the amount isn't that large, right? To 306 million. It's not that large numbers wise, like monetarily, but just growing the revenue by 93% compared to their previous 4 quarters is insane. 93%. Once again, show me a company that's growing at 93% year over year, and I would be happy to buy into that company if they have potential to continue to grow. I don't know of any other company that's growing like that will continue to have the same potential that Palantir has currently. But as far as Palantir's foundation goes, as we all know, guys, Palantir was built on government and defense contracts. That is the backbone of the business, obviously. But I think that's going to continue to become a smaller portion of their total revenue as we continue to watch this company grow. The platform for Gotham, the platform that they have for the military, it was one of the reasons that made me kind of fall in love with this company. I was just kind of blown away by the way that they were able to illustrate the battlefield and just everything that the government and the military needs to be able to protect this country and to protect our allies. And we just saw recently that they just got another contract. Palantir Technologies receives military AI contract from the UK government worth $750 million. And one thing a lot of people don't realize when they say Palantir is overvalued is when they get these contracts, they're spread over a certain number of years. So they're not realizing that money when they announce the contract. So this is why I see the revenue continuing to grow, the company continuing to grow, because every year that passes or every year that comes by, more and more of that revenue is being realized on their balance sheet. So let's go back to their last earnings. Revenue grew by 48% year over year. Their rule of 40 score of 94%. With this rule of 40, it's very debatable. I feel like Palantir kind of created this whole rule of 40. I know it's been something that has been used for a long time, but I feel like they just started tracking this rule of 40 thing. I don't know. It's very impressive, but I don't really go by that, percentage right there. And then they closed 157 deals for at least $1 million, 66 deals for $5 million, and 42 deals for $10 million. All of this right here isn't going to be realized day one. It's not going to be realized this year or the next quarter. It's going to continue to compound on all their other contracts that they have and continue to build a base that's going to continue to propel this company higher and higher well into the future. Adjusted operating income of $460 million, 46% margin. Once again, guys, tell me of a company that's producing 46% margin on software. I think this is why I like this company so much, and why I think it's kind of like it's very hard to bring down, in the sense that they've already invested the majority of their capital that they need to build the software that they're currently on, and all they have to do is continue to sell that. And we've seen the company work on their sales and just continue to advertise. And then they don't even advertise in the sense like they're posting ads everywhere. The way that they advertise is very classy, and it's very subtle. And I think it's just going to continue to compound year over year and continue to propel this company even higher. And I can't stress enough how much I love Palantir's earnings slide decks. I think they're so neat, they're so well put together, and it's always so easy to read. But here we are. They recently did a deal with Fannie Mae, which is one of the largest, I think it's government backed, that handles home loans and produces a lot of the mortgages for people to buy homes in America. And this alone right here is just going to start this ripple effect where they're going to continue to find more real estate companies to continue to build on their balance sheet. And this is the point that I'm trying to get to. For me personally, having a real estate and property management background, I think real estate and property management is going to be such a good sector for Palantir to get into. One, for the fact that it's sticky. They have a lot of antiquated softwares. RealPage right now has a chokehold on all of, property management, in the sense that majority of property management companies, they use RealPage to set their prices and all of that other stuff. And the reason I'm saying that Palantir can really come in and change this industry is RealPage is very clunky. It's not smooth. It's so dated that it needs to be disrupted. And RealPage is currently going through a massive lawsuit for, allegedly setting prices and all this other stuff. It's kind of interesting if we actually look into that RealPage lawsuit. And me working in the industry, I think it's a very hard lawsuit to win, in the sense that RealPage wasn't actually setting prices. And this is all my opinion. No legal advice here. I'm not a lawyer or anything like that. But RealPage wasn't actually setting the prices. All RealPage does is provide a suggestion for what the price should be. Real estate, one of the world's largest asset classes, is highly fragmented right now as far as the software that they use. Palantir is not a household name currently for real estate, and I just see real estate just being the next part that Palantir can really dive into and just change the game. So as far as where this goes for Palantir, there's just so many avenues that they really haven't tapped into yet. And that's why a lot of people still think Palantir is undervalued, in the sense that, at a $421 billion market cap, by, you know, normal standards, right? People are going to say, oh, it could fall, it could continue to fall even deeper, there could be a major pullback. And I'm not denying that. I strongly believe it can pull back. But can it also continue to go up? Yes, it can definitely continue to go up. All right, let's wrap this video up, guys. I feel like I've kind of rambled for a little bit. I don't even know if all of it makes sense, but just to summarize everything that I've talked about, Palantir is going to continue to go into different industries and continue to get more customers in the industries that they're in. It currently being valued at $420 billion. Yes, it's high, it's grown a lot, but I think it's all well deserved. And I think it's going to continue to capitalize on industries that are underserved and areas where they can disrupt these markets, such as real estate. They're going to continue to push these products, and they're doing a good job at doing that already. And I just see people say Palantir is going to $1 trillion. Even me, who owns the shares, I was a little bit hesitant on, kind of pushing that number, $1 trillion. I know it sounds good to say, but is it realistic? And in my opinion, I think it's very realistic. There will be a new 3 companies added to the Mag 7, and Palantir will be one of them, in my personal opinion. All right, guys, so that's all I have to say about Palantir for right now. I feel like these videos can go on for so long, and you just end up talking and it seems like you're rambling, but that's my opinion on Palantir. I'll definitely be making more videos on Palantir. If there's anything you guys want to see or have me highlight on, please let me know, and then we can cover that. As far as this channel goes, guys, I'm never really going to tell you to like, subscribe, and all that mumbo jumbo that people be pushing on YouTube. Me personally, I feel like if you watch my videos, you find interest in these videos, you're going to naturally like the video and subscribe. So you're not going to hear me say that at the end of any of my videos, just because it's kind of redundant, in my opinion. People have been watching YouTube for a very long time. They don't need to be told to like and subscribe at the end of every video. But that's my opinion on that, guys. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.